This Labor Day, HomeDepot.com is your one-stop shop for all things decor, with up to 30% off furniture, mattresses, home decor, and kitchenware. Online, it's a Labor Day savings event. Out there, it's a whole new way to enjoy your space. Whether it's finishing touches or a total transformation, find everything you need to make your home feel more like home at HomeDepot.com/decor. Free delivery on select items $45 or more, U.S. only, valid through September 15th, 2021.
10, 9, 8. Ignition sequence has started. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
You have entered Untold Radio AM. And now broadcasting from a secret location, your hosts, Joel Sturgis and Doug Hychek. And welcome to this edition of Untold Radio AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis. Right along with me is Mr. Doug Hychek. Tonight we got a great show on tap for you tonight. I'm really excited about all of these shows, but this one's going to be kind of really cool. I shouldn't say kind of, it will be cool. And you're going to want to hang out and you're going to want to listen. We're going to be talking about Bill Mussell. There we go, Mussell. Bob Mussell, he is a photographer, but not just any. He has been in the business of photography for over, 35 or 40 years. And he has been filming some of the biggest rock bands in the business. Like, if you see concert footage, or if you see music videos, or if you see this, or if you see that, it could have been Bill doing it. So he's gonna be.
You just said Bill.
Did I just say Bill?
Yeah.
Oh my God! Punch me in the face twice, because that's horrible. Me, Bob.
Did you talk to a Bill today somewhere?
I did talk to a Bill today. I did. So Bob is the guy that would have been shooting all that cool stuff. So he'll be on the bottom of the hour. So
I mean, this guy knows Mick Jagger.
He does. I just want to know if he has the secret of eternal life. Because if he knows Mick Jagger,
yeah,
he knows the Rolling Stones.
Yeah, the guy jumps around. 18.
And who is the longest living human being on Earth? Not Mick Jagger. Keith Richards. I want to find out if Keith Richards is a vampire.
No, it's Keith. What? No. It's Keith Richards' mother.
Keith Richards' mother?
Yeah.
Okay. She ain't still alive. Oh my God.
Oh,
she's got to be.
No, I got to tell you this story. Okay. I was up interviewing a guy named Jack Pine Bob, right? He was in his 80s. And I'm interviewing him. And he goes, and we got done with the interview, and he goes, "Hey, you want to go up to my mom's and go have some?" And I'm like, "What?" I said, "Your mom is still alive?" And he goes, "Heck yeah, she can kick your ass."
Not only is she alive, but she'll kick your ass, Doug.
So we did. We went up to the top of this kind of mountain, and of course, we were pulling 8 snowmobiles, because I put on this snowmobile run for all these policemen to take them camping and snowmobiling.
Oh, gotcha.
I got Yamaha.
A good cause run is what you did.
But anyhow, it was just to get these guys out. But the point is we decide we're going to go up this mountain pulling 8 snowmobiles. Well, we got about halfway up and we start going backwards. We lost traction. So now we forked the whole trailer into the road, right? The one road, the only road in and out of the mountain, right up near Ely. And
that would be Eagle's Nest. Yeah. Yep.
Yep. You probably know the mountain I'm talking about.
I do know the mountain.
So then, of course, people start coming in to want to get home, and now they're behind us. So we can't do anything. Now people want to leave, their home to go to Ely. And they're stuck. So we're gridlocked with this jackknife trailer, 8 cops, me and Joe and a bunch of mad neighbors who can't go anywhere, can't go home. And it's snowing really hard.
And they're used to being up there, the neighbors are.
Anyhow, it ended up being this big party. I am not joking you. It was one of those magical nights where everybody was just awesome, and we tried to unsolve this problem that we had all created because cars were in the ditch, and it was, oh my God, it was a mess. It took us like 4 hours, but it was like a party. Everybody had a great time. We all met each other, and
it was a spontaneous,
It
was a spontaneous Ely hoedown, is what it was.
Yeah, it was crazy, but everybody was so wonderful. And for us to try to mentally figure out, because you know when you get into one of those situations, like 20 men all have an idea how we're untangle this mess.
Yeah.
And finally there was, and everybody, we kept trying different things, and finally this one guy had all these brilliant ideas and equipment, and we got everything free. And I'll tell you what, we went up to Bob's and met his mom and had hot cocoa with Jack Pine Bob's mom. True story.
How old was Jack Pine Bob's mom?
Oh, I don't remember, but I know he was in his 80s.
And if she was still alive, and maybe she would have been 18 to 20 years old.
Sure.
When she had him. So she easily could have been 100 years old.
But you don't know what it's like. I was probably like 30. Yeah. I was producing Ron Scher's show.
Minnesota Bound.
Minnesota Bound. And, and Bob was a regular feature in our show. He was the old outdoor philosopher. He played a part in every show. And he was just so amazing. He was a transplant writer from the Chicago Tribune who came to Ely on a vacation and to write an article, and he literally called his wife and said, "Send all the crap, I'm never coming back."
Did his wife come up?
Oh, sure, his wife came. Send everything. And they ended up living there, and he became a writer for the Ely Echo. And he was just legendary. He was an amazing writer. And I was so fortunate to get to know him. But it was weird because I was with this guy from Mexico who was a survival expert from Mexico, and he taught survival school. And we were talking about it. I said, because I mentioned to him, I said, let's go stop by Jack Pine Bob's office. He goes, no way. And I'm like, yeah. He goes, he's still alive? And I'm like, yeah. And he goes, that's how I got into survival. He was literally a little kid in Mexico who had gotten his book, one of Jack Pine Bob's books, on how to, bushcraft and all that stuff.
Sure.
And it inspired him to go into bushcraft and survival and get into the, and write books. And he had written books and everything. But literally, when he met Jack Pine Bob, he started to sob. And Bob gave him a book, the same book he had when he was a kid, and autographed it for him. A hardcover copy Bob still had.
Huh.
It was just a magical thing to see Gary crying. Because this guy changed his whole life. And then to meet him and then have this crazy thing happen where we were all stranded and
oh man. That is cool. That is cool.
Yeah, magical night, really.
That is really cool. I do remember when Jack Pine Bob passed away.
Yes, yeah,
I remember, and he was 84 years old.
Yeah, yep.
He died in 2006.
Yep, and he was.
I only know that also because I'm jogging my memory by looking at the Ely newspaper right now.
Bob Carey was his real name.
Yep.
And he was just probably one of the most delightful people you could ever meet. He was just so witty and so smart. And I did a scene, I remember when I interviewed him, and actually I'd had other filmmakers that saw it and just marveled in the scene I did. But I had him put his feet, his big, Ely boots or some clucks up on the table and cross his feet. And then I filmed through his boots, the interview. And you could just see these giant feet and him in the background. And he was philosophizing,
Yeah. Yeah.
It was cool.
Interesting.
Yeah,
I knew him as well, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, I bet you did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I only live an hour south, so
Yep.
I used to spend a lot of time in Ely growing up. So yeah, a lot of time. In my youth, I was a Boundary Waters guide.
Oh, okay.
I used to be one of the guides that would take people all over the Boundary Waters.
You're a paddler.
Mainly rich lawyers, doctors, dentists, stuff like that. We get a lot of that, but it was fun getting people up there.
Bob Carey, he's actually world famous.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of famous people or people that transplanted from other places that lived in Ely.
Yeah.
It's just amazing how many people, who you come across in that city. And the city, if you're listening, you've never been there, is, 4,000 people? I mean, it's not a very big town at all.
Right.
When it's the off season, it really shrinks. I mean, right now it swells to be about 30,000, I swear to God. If you're to go there right now, it is just, maybe not now because the fire's in the BWCA. But take a good year where there's really nothing going on, no COVID, no fire or anything, that city swells up to be huge.
Yes, it does. Oh, it's a great summertime destination. Of course, I went there in the winter when it was literally 40 below. It was so bad.
It was so bad. To go.
I ran into Will Steger, the Arctic explorer, right? The guy that walked across.
He's wearing shorts when you saw him.
No. And I saw Will. We were at Steger Mucklucks buying a pair of mucklucks for my daughter, and all of a sudden, I see Will coming out of the store, and he's never there at Steger Mucklucks. Yeah. And I say, hey, Will. And you could tell he was staring at me when he came out, because I used to know Will really well, and he comes up to the window and says, hey, Doug, we're talking, but it's 40 below out, and I'm thinking, well, I'm not feeling sorry for him. I'm in a warm car with hot air blowing on me. He's standing out there at 40 below weather, and I'm like, whatever. All of a sudden he goes, I'm freezing.
I'm cold. I'm out of here. Going in.
Yeah. Anyhow, my daughter got to meet him. But okay, so I got a call today from Abe Del Rio, who's
I do know Abe very well.
At a Bigfoot conference in October up in Grand Rapids with Jeff Meldrum, I think Cliff Brockman, and numbers of people are going to be up there. And so he comes over, and he comes in, he's got his work clothes on. I'm saying, well, I'll just let you in the garage. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. The floor all marked up, or God knows what his.
Yeah, he's got a fairly dirty job, doesn't he?
Yeah. But anyhow.
Yeah.
So I let him in the garage. He comes in, and we're talking, and me and Abe are laughing or whatever about this or that, and we're talking for quite a while. And then he asked me if I would be a speaker at the conference, which I gladly said yes. But then we're talking. All of a sudden, we hear like a firecracker going off inside my house. And I'm thinking, what the heck? And we both blew it off. That's the weird part. We just kept talking. That's when you're talking about Bigfoot.
You just blew it off.
Blew it off.
Didn't happen. We're too busy talking.
It was an explosion in my home, and we just blew it off. Okay. Then we're talking again. We hear another one. Another explosion. And we just keep talking. We blew the second one off too.
Like it doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Well, it just gets better. Then a third one, and we just keep talking. We're just deep in our conversation, and we both heard it. I mean, it was really loud. You can ask Gabe if you don't believe me. And then the fourth one blew, and this time I'm hearing stuff like hit the walls. So then all of a sudden I stand up and I go, "Oh my God!" And I run into the kitchen, and I realized I was boiling a big pot of eggs.
Oh.
Hard-boiled eggs. And I had left it on the stove. The water had disappeared, and the eggs were now just on a raw fire, and they were exploding. And they were really exploding. The sulfur in hard-boiled eggs is actually quite explosive.
That's why you use water. Yeah.
If you try to microwave a hard-boiled egg, where the yolk is cooked, it will explode in your microwave. You will be so.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
because of the sulfur content and all the minerals that are in the sulfur.
I have heard that. Yeah, that they're quite. They'll go boom.
Well, I made the mistake one time thinking, I'm gonna microwave a hard-boiled egg, and that was another cooking disaster from Doug. And
follow Doug for more recipes.
Yeah, more recipes. So I go in the kitchen, and when it hits me, and I remember finally, right? You would think two grown men would investigate explosions inside the house because we had the garage door between the house and the garage wide open.
Yeah.
But then when I'm hearing furniture move, I'm thinking, well, I better probably investigate. And then when it dawned on me, I'm thinking, oh my God, what am I going to find? Fire, stuff on the ceiling. That's going to just kill me. Yeah. And I mean, just kill me. So I look at the mess. I'm like, oh my God, that's going to take me an hour and a half to clean up. And I go, Abe, you do not breathe a word of this to anybody. Because if Yvette finds out, she'll never let me cook again.
Yeah, no, Yvette's going to hear this.
But I said, oh, what am I going to do with the eggs? Abe, can you take all these burnt eggs, because they stunk really bad, can you take them home with you? Or, throw them in your garbage dumpster at home. He's like, yeah, I'll do that. Sure. And he's all, he's willing to do it. And then I'm thinking, oh, it's garbage night tonight. I'll just put them in there right away. And I'll just clean up everything. And okay. And I did that. I still might get busted.
You know you will. Well, you said it on radio. I mean, all she has to do is listen.
She isn't going to listen to the radio. I'm safer talking on this radio. Telling things I wouldn't want her to hear. She'll never hear it. Serious.
We can make her hear it.
No, you can't. Anyhow, so I cleaned up everything, and it's just the house just smelled like.
It smells like putrid sulfur.
Oh my God!
You know
sulfur.
Exactly.
It was
horrid. And there's nothing worse than a rotten egg smell.
Oh my God, it was so bad. So I get the Febreze, I get the Lysol, I clean up everything, which does take me about an hour. Make sure, there's eggshells all over the kitchen and things that look like used condoms,
Oh my God, poor Abe had to sit through this. Huh? Abe's my good friend, and you subjected him to that kind of smell and danger of your explosive eggs?
He ignored it. He didn't even. He noticed.
I hear you.
Hey, why do you have explosions going on in your home?
Hey, by the way, why is everything blowing up in your house?
Yeah.
What are you doing in there?
It was just so weird how two men could just ignore that.
Well, you had bigger fish to fry. You guys were deep in discussion, I'm sure. And so, these explosions are happening.
Yeah.
And you went in there and you found the evidence of eggs gone wild.
Oh my God. It was
yeah.
So don't try that at home.
Well, it's funny because as you're talking, our good friend Abe texted me. And he said to me,
what?
I'm telling Yvette.
Nice.
But I don't think he's going to.
He won't.
I think you're safe.
I'll just get some dirt on him.
Really? He's pretty squeaky clean, my friend. You're going to be digging for... have you ever met anybody in your life, seriously now, I mean this in a serious question, that does not like Abe Del Rio? I have not met one person that does not like Abe. I'm dead serious. He is like the most lovable guy you're ever going to meet.
Are you putting me on the spot here?
I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Digging up dirt on him, man. I think you might have some. It's going to be a rough thing to do.
I could just make up some dirt.
Just make up some dirt. So anyhow, getting back to what matters, and your eggs do matter, but also the Bigfoot conference matters. So you're going to be the fourth speaker.
Oh my God, I'm getting all these texts from people I know going, I'm telling her.
See, that's what you did.
4 of them.
See, you never want to put it out there on radio, Doug. You just don't want to do it. I know this from personal experience.
Well, let's put it this way. If she finds out, I'm never touching that stove ever again.
Just tell her she's going to have to cook now. That's all.
See, last week it was oatmeal. I destroyed the microwave. This week it was exploding eggs, and I'm thinking, Oh, there's
what's not? Are you just bound and determined to destroy your kitchen? I mean, do you have a hatred for your kitchen?
Well, these are simple things to cook, right? Hard-boiled eggs. Anybody can cook hard-boiled.
For a 5-year-old, they are
20
very
minutes
easy
in, boiling water. That's easy. But not if you're me and you're getting distracted all the time.
But you suffer from the ADD thing, right? Right? Come on, a little bit.
I'm self-diagnosing, yeah.
Just a tinge, where you get on a project or you get on a conversation, and at that moment, that's the only thing that matters,
right?
Or and so your attention is away from that, so yes. It's not even in your mind. I'm trying to give you an out here.
No. Other people will just say, "Getting senile."
I didn't want to go there. And I didn't go there. You did. Just remember, you're the one that went there, not me.
Yes. Okay, yeah. But I know we only have 10 minutes before we go to our commercial break.
Sure.
But, okay, so we're doing something really quick I got to tell you about. I should show you, actually, because Alex, my son, sent me a test. Okay, so as you know, we've opened this publishing company.
Yes.
It's Hangar One Publishing, which books will be available on the Untold site, but we're doing something different with a lot of the books. We're augmenting the books. So, for instance, we have one book coming out as an example. It's called the Owl Moon Lab Experiment, right? Or the Owl Moon Lab.
Sure.
And it's about Bigfoot and a lot of the oddities that surround research in one area, right? But there are 40 different audio and video clips within the book. So as you get the printed book, you can watch videos, listen to audio, right as you're reading. It's really cool to bring things to life.
I would imagine you use your cell phone with a QR code.
Right, we're using
scan and it'll
but we're also using augmented reality.
Very cool.
Since we're working on augmented reality book covers, augmented reality animation, and I'm also planning on doing the same thing with Legend Meets Science. So you can point your phone at the TV screen during certain segments, and there'll be things that you can examine in 3D.
Man, that's gonna be cool. That's a great
certain
concept.
Pieces of evidence, yes, that will pop out of the screen. Yeah, and so I'm trying to do some cutting edge.
So now Legend Meets Science 2 is being worked on right now.
Yes.
And there's a lot of people that are excited for that.
That thing got
I saw the buzz.
700 shares, I thought. Yeah. I posted it.
I saw that buzz
actually quite a few shares.
Yeah, so that's good. That's gonna be really, really cool to see that happen. And it's time, Doug. What has it been? 20 years?
Well, yeah, since that one, yeah. 21.
21 years. So yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great to get a part 2.
And I talked to Jeff. I talked to Jeff Meldrum, Dr. Meldrum, and I said, Jeff, what are the chances you'll be willing to do Legend Meets Science 2 book? He said, well, and he got a big grin on his face because we were on a Zoom call, like a 2-hour-long Zoom call, and he goes, yep, I've already talked to my wife about it.
I found it humorous, though. One thing I do have to touch on the social media is a couple of people are like, that's really cool, Jeff Meldrum, to let you use his name. Not the name, but the book. Yeah. Right? I'm glad you set that record straight for anyone that's listening. And not to be a technical person or a fuddy-duddy or anything like that. Technically, he named his book after the movie. And so just kind of throwing that out there, just a little point of fact.
Yes.
Yeah.
What did you just say? I wasn't listening.
I just said, geez.
I got distracted.
It is really, other listeners, they say, it's all about Doug, isn't it? It's all about Doug. It is all about Doug. Look at that.
Yvette just got home. I swear to God.
Yeah.
She's walking by the stink mess right now. She just got home. This is going to be bad.
Probably good thing you're on the radio.
Yeah.
So that way she won't come and chastise you while you're on the air.
Okay, hang on. I want to go shut the door to to the studio?
I would.
Yeah, hold on.
I would. So anyhow, yeah, this is not going to end well for Doug. I got a feeling that things are going to go south quickly once the egg mess is discovered. So let's listen.
I'm back.
I know. I know you're back. And there's been no screaming yet. No yelling.
No, but she's in the garage and it's quiet. That means she smells something in the garage. She's looking, and I forgot to
find her in there searching, ripping apart that garage.
I was gonna take the garbage out, the garbage cans out.
Yeah,
but I forgot to. I got distracted again. Anyhow, okay.
You'll be okay. It'll be okay.
I'll be okay, but I won't be able to cook anymore because she will.
No. Do you really like to cook anyway?
Yeah. Well, what am I gonna do when I'm all alone?
Right.
Gotta cook. Gotta eat. Well,
that is true. You do own a toaster, right?
Yeah.
So there you go. You just make yourself some toast.
Oh no, she'll forbid me from the toaster, the microwave, and the stove.
Oh.
I'll be able to only eat cold food. That'll
be it. Out of a cooler.
Yeah, out of a cooler. I did leave the refrigerator door open once too.
Oh, anyhow. So
what were we talking about?
To be honest, we were talking about, of course, Legend Meets Science coming out.
Yeah.
And then we discussed how evidently it's all
the book.
About you.
You were talking about the book.
Yeah.
Somebody was accusing me. Do you hope you got permission from Jeff?
Yeah. I just want to set the record straight. That's all.
We'll set it straight.
That you came up, that the book was named after your show and not the other way around.
Right.
That's all.
Right.
So there you go. That's it. Most people already know that, though. Most people that know you and have followed your work would know that.
But it's a whole new group of people that grow up and get interested in the topic.
Yeah, well, there's lots of new people to the field that is just now discovering, like Monster Quest and Legend Meets Science. It's all new to them.
Yeah, it's weird.
So that is cool because they'll talk like it's new.
And it's on like streaming, like Monster Quest is on, Amazon now. So
right now,
a bunch of new kids watching it again. They're thinking it's all new,
Yeah, that's great though. That's the great part about that medium of television, that the new audience is coming in. Making available and streaming like they have.
Right.
It brings potentially could bring a whole lot more people into the field as well, and keep perpetuating itself to bring new people in.
Right.
So that's a damn good thing, in my opinion.
Do you remember the first time you saw Netflix?
I do.
Remember how crappy it was?
It was way back in the early 2000s when they first... Well, my first subscription to Netflix was just the DVD rentals. Do you remember that? Just the DVDs.
You'd want to watch a movie, they'd mail it to you. And then,
they mail you the movie.
Oh, my God.
And you could pick. Now, in the early days, like I'm talking when internet still sucked, Netflix would send you a book that you could thumb through, and I still have the original book.
It's probably worth
catalog.
It's a collector item.
Yeah, because I was an early member.
But remember, all they had was like really bad B movies, like.
Yeah. They didn't have any rights yet to anything really good yet.
No, it was like Toma. Do you remember Toma? Like Swamp East.
Yep.
Really cheap.
Yeah. Oh, Trauma Films.
That's what I mean.
Lloyd Kaufman.
What did I say?
Yeah, I know Lloyd.
I said Toma. I meant say it again.
Trauma Films.
Trauma Films. Yeah.
Yeah, Lloyd Kaufman. He's a great guy, by the way. We should get him on the show. You'd love him.
Yeah. Let's do that, Joel.
Toxic Avenger.
I have no connections to that show.
Lloyd Kaufman is a hoot and a holler. You'd love that guy. He's a good time. So I'll make that happen.
You know who I want to get on?
Huh.
Let me try to think of his name. Harry.
This Labor Day, HomeDepot.com is your one-stop shop for all things decor, with up to 30% off furniture, mattresses, home decor, and kitchenware. Online, it's a Labor Day savings event. Out there, it's a whole new way to enjoy your space. Whether it's finishing touches or a total transformation, find everything you need to make your home feel more like home. at homedepot.com/decor. Free delivery on select items $45 or more, U.S. only, valid through September 15, 2021.
Unlike other automakers, we at Ford don't think you should need a 20-minute tutorial to open your glove box. So we made our technology easy to use by making our vehicles available with Blue Cruise hands-free driving, Sync 4, and the Ford Pass app. And the best part? They just work. Built for America. Built Ford proud.
Optional features listed.
Hauser something Heisenhower. He did all the early special effects movies, the original Mysterious Island, and the original Rose and Sinbad.
Gotcha. That's in the 70s. You're talking 70s.
No, it was back in the 60s.
He might not be still with us, Doug.
No, I think he is. I talked to him not that long ago on the phone in England. Okay. And I told him, I said, you realize, man, we used to just get the popcorn when I was a kid, when one of your movies would come on, and we'd, just, it was a big deal. We saw it.
The old stop motion. Yep. Stop motion special effects. Yeah, those are the best. We gotta get out of here, Doug, though. We gotta get out of here so we can bring Bob in. And we're going to be taking a hard rock and roll right turn here when we come back, too. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back right after this.
Hi, Tom Bodette. If you can hear me, then you have an internet connection, which means you can do cool things online, like listen to streaming radio, obviously, or watch a video of a monkey washing a cat. Let your freak flag fly. Or you can book a room at a great price at Motel6.com. Isn't the internet wonderful? Everything you want right at your fingertips, and whoa, did not need to see that. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
Unexpected reactions to smart financial decisions brought to you by feedthepig.org.
Well, I finally did it. My student loan is totally paid off.
I can't believe it.
I can't believe it either. I paid more than the minimum each month, and soon enough, it was gone.
So you're just giving up?
Giving up on what?
The life of luxury. Egyptian cotton, caviar Thursdays, designer everything.
What are you talking about?
Our plan. What happened to winning the lottery and mastering the art of the perfect mimosa? Hosting galas, wearing enough jewelry to require a bodyguard, vacationing in the French Riviera, and then buying it.
I just thought maybe it was time to prepare for my future. Set some financial goals, make some smart investments, open a 401k.
Financial goals? Investments? A 401k? You are horrifying right now. Listen, if winning the lottery were easy, everyone would do it.
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org. This message brought to you by the American Institute of CPAs and the Ad Council.
Northern Tool and Equipment.
So me and the boys head out to tailgate today and find some other fans in our spot.
Well, it happens.
Cheering for the wrong team.
Oh, this is war.
Even worse, they've got this couch set up and everything.
A couch?
Yeah, it's sectional.
All right, first thing, don't ever use the word sectional again.
Done.
Second, I want you to grab a 4,700-pound tow chain with J-hook and grab hammer. Throw that on the back of your truck.
Got it.
Now you're going to Hail Mary the J-hook over the end of that couch. Time to find a better spot for your new friends.
That should do it.
There's no problem a little horsepower can't solve. Northern Tool and Equipment.
Taking a family of 5 to the amusement park can cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. So to save some money, we thought, hey, let's bring the amusement park to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right. Step right up, young man. Are you ready to ride the wacky waterfall?
That's just the bathtub with the shower head running.
Nope, it's the wacky waterfall.
It's the shower, Dad.
Waterfall.
Wacky.
There's an easier way to save. To get a free rate quote, go to geico.com. Then buy online, over the phone, or at your local Geico office.
Green light. Hey, girl. School zone. I'm getting hungry. Car changing lanes. You want to meet me for pizza? Stop sign. Intersection clear. Yeah, street. Pizza sounds good. Ballin Street? Girlin Street!
It's hard to concentrate on two things at once, like texting and driving. Stop the text, stop the wrecks. How will you stop texting and driving? Tell us at stoptextstoprex.org. Brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
And welcome back to Untold Radio AM. I'm your host, Joel Sturgis, and with me, like always, is Mr. Doug Highcheck. Tonight we have a great guest on tap for you, and it's going to be a lot of fun talking with him. We have Bob Mussell on tonight. Bob has done photography for some of the biggest rock bands in the business. Bob began when he was in the age of 15. Wow, that is so young. 15 years old when he traded his 6-string guitar for a 35mm SLR camera.
Yep.
Bob found his niche in shooting bands live in concert soon after that. Like many other freelance artists with a growing family, he worked 2 jobs. All that changed in 1993 when the second job had closed its doors. From that point, Bob got an agent, and the rest is history. So, Bob, man, we want to talk about that history. We want to get into that. So, without any further ado, I'd like to thank Bob Mussell onto the show. Thanks, Bob, for coming on, by the way.
Thanks for having me on. I'm usually on the other side of all this stuff, so it's a little, it's frightening. I've had an upset stomach all day.
Oh,
and yeah, but I think I'll get calmed down a little bit. The reason
it's just radio, Bob. It's kind of like the Rolling Stones used to say, it's only rock and roll, but I like it. This is just radio, and I like it. Don't worry about it.
I got a good face for radio. Anyway, the reason I traded my guitar is my best friend was a guitar player also. And, well, there's a bunch of us that played, but he was just so outstanding. And it was like, I'm just not getting it, you know?
Yeah.
And I had this friend in a place that I was working. It was a recreational place, a resort, so to speak, called Rainbow Lake. It was a camping area with everything you want. And there was a photographer guy there whose daughter was she was beautiful. And his name is Carl Stone. He's actually really a big what would you call him? A production photographer.
Sure.
But commercial stuff of that nature. But anyway, I would take him around to show him all the great spots to take, nature stuff around the resort. And I thought maybe I'd get a chance to meet his daughter a little better, But
there you go.
That she fell for my friend instead, and that's history. But I remained friends with the whole family for quite a while afterward, and Carl helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
But that's how it started, and it was just a single. I mean, the 35mm, you couldn't even change the lens on it. It was just it's what you got. So I, just started out small.
Did you and him kind of start the same way with the interest in photography and kind of went from there? I mean, Doug, you got kind of a similar story, don't you?
Yeah, similar, happened organically. And then, of course, I would imagine, Bob, you ended up getting a break like I did. At some point, you get a break, where you get connected to somebody bigger up that can kind of help your career. What happened to you, Bob?
Actually, I was with that guitar player friend of mine, Bob Falk, and his band called Moonshine Express. And they played all across Canada, in New York. And they were playing in New York City. And I would go along with them and shoot them at the Lone Star. And they'd, as I think I spoke to you earlier, they were the like the house band there. Like they backed Bo up, Bo Diddley, which and I guess my big break, it was a guy named Elliot Randall. He's a guitar player from Steely Dan. He introduced me to a guy named Richie Aaron, who's passed away recently. I just found out, and he was a rock photographer. I mean, that was his name. That's what he was. And I had a chance to do a shoot with him, and it was with the Bay City Rollers. And I learned that day that he wasn't doing anything any different than I was.
Mm-hmm.
Not a damn thing. And it inspired me to just go for it.
Yeah.
And, I parlayed one job into another. And, once you get a couple of names under your belt, people want to work with you. They
Yeah.
just want to. And I'd like to work hard, so,
Did you ever, Bob, did you ever get starstruck dealing with these people? Was there ever any rock band or someone, of that caliber that you just had to take a moment to compose yourself?
Honestly, not really.
I hear you.
I've had some scary moments, but I'm a photographer. I'm there to work. I'm not the rock star. I try to be small, like a fly on the wall.
Yeah.
Not be noticed. You make a lot of friends. I mean, if you make a friend with one of the guys in the band, that's great, but you make real friends with the crew and stuff, And
Sure.
there's rules. You got to follow them. But Neil Diamond was kind of tough, but I was pretty young. I'd really like to tell you the ones that are really super cool, like the Elton Johns and stuff. I mean, he's just so down to earth and kind. And the guys in Deep Purple, they all became good friends of mine. And Ian Gillan, I mean, he's just a really charming gentleman. English gentleman, I guess you would call him. And I've hung out with him quite a bit, and he's introduced me to a lot of people, and that
is cool.
Yeah.
So what year was it, Bob, when you finally started doing more of a very well-known band? What year was it?
It was 93 when I was I was very serious about it. I mean, I did Charlie Daniels, and I did quite a few shows with the Allman Brothers back in the 70s. But those were my party days, I wasn't really serious, so to speak, yet. I thought I was, but I wasn't. And about when that place closed down, I just quit drinking and everything. I got completely sober, not that I was all the way out there, but I just figured I'd try that for a while. And once that happened, I was doing one of the things I was doing a thing with Aerosmith. It was just it was a meet and greet for a radio station, or a couple of them actually in Buffalo. Excuse me, 1 second. And I had known, you hear about people that are on the wagon, or they're in the program or whatever. And Steven Tyler was very approachable, and I got to talk to him quite a bit on this day. And I was talking to him about a party that I had to go to on a Friday. I think it was like a Tuesday. And can I swear on here? Or I mean, I don't.
Well, we try to keep it family oriented because we're on FM as well. So,
Well, okay, I can bleep that out. But I says to him, I says, man, I'm really worried about going, falling off or slipping or something on Friday night. This big party. I know there's gonna be a lot of stuff there. And he looks at me really seriously, right in my eyes, and he says, "What the F are you worried about Friday for? Worry about today."
Yeah.
Light bulb goes off, and that was like my mantra from that on, one day at a time,
Yeah.
So, when a lot of, I'm not saying just photographers in general, but there's a lot of bad stuff going on around the bands, and there's bad influences that hang out at times.
Sure.
And management doesn't like that stuff. So when they find out somebody that isn't trying to be a rock star, or isn't trying to be buddies with the band and get high with them all the time, or supplying them or whatever, they like that. They like to have somebody there that's a good example.
Gotcha. So, they like to have that steady, sober influence on them.
It got me some jobs. I'm sure it did. I'm sure it's why I was able to stay.
Mm-hmm.
I kept my nose clean and away from the business, the partying end of it. I was out with STP for a while, and I think that was probably why I was allowed, because I there was none of that going on. And I actually, what was I going to say about that one? Well, I can leave it at that.
Sure.
But
sure.
But bottom line, Bob, you were a good boy. You were good.
Yeah. At that point, I was. Prior to that, I was. I wanted to be. I wanted to be a rock star photographer.
Yeah.
I wanted to. I was partying a lot and stuff. So when that stopped, things took off. And it happened fast too. I was telling you about the Marilyn Manson thing. I mentioned it. The first time I ever shot him, he was opening for 9 Inch Nails in Buffalo, and he spits on people. They call it globbing, and it's supposed to be a term of endearment. I've come to find out. And, in punk music, it's
gotcha.
Like, yeah, and he's not a punk. He's he's a metal guy, but
yeah.
Anyway, he was spitting all over the place, and I saw he looked like he lined me right up, and I got out of the way of it, and it hit this girl behind me who I knew quite well, another girl in the pit, and it hit her right in the bare spot of her chest, between her, right above her button, and it was just one of those hard, hot, terrible looking hockers, and the look of disgust on her face was just horrible. I never forgot that, and I'm sure that Nancy hasn't forgot that either. But after the show, these guys, like, I was Manson and Twiggy, were just walking in the hallway, and the 9 Inch Nails was still going on. And I approached them, and I said, man, I said, nice show. First, I said, man, you almost hit me with that, bleeping hocker. And he says, well, I was trying to hit you with it, So down the road a little bit, he came back to Buffalo. Somehow, through a friend, I got the pictures I had taken that night to him.
Better sleep means a better you. Mattress Firm's Rest Assured Promise guarantees you'll find your perfect bed from America's best brands. For a limited time, save up to $700 on Tempur-Pedic adjustable mattress sets and get a $300 instant gift good towards sleep accessories. With our highly trained sleep experts and our low price guarantee, you can rest assured you'll get the best bed at the best price. Only at Mattress Firm, America's #1 Tempur-Pedic retailer. Offer valid with qualifying purchase. Restrictions apply. Valid at participating locations only. For offer details, visit mattressfirm.com/sale.
This Labor Day, HomeDepot.com is your one-stop shop for all things decor, with up to 30% off furniture, mattresses, home decor, and kitchenware. Online, it's a Labor Day savings event. Out there, it's a whole new way to enjoy your space. Whether it's finishing touches or a total transformation, find everything you need to make your home feel more like home at HomeDepot.com/decor. Free delivery on select items $45 or more, U.S. only, valid through September 15th, 2021.
And his management. So they let me shoot this other show in a smaller club. And I told Frankie, their production manager on the tour, I'm going to put this white piece of paper in front of me at the stage, so please tell Manson not to spit at me if you can help it. And he faked me out all night long. It was,
jeez.
What you thought about it. So we became pretty cool, after a while. And that night, too, there was this kid that kept on grabbing his boot. He wore these big rubber boots, with the laces and the buckles. And this kid kept on pulling his boot. And he almost pulled his foot off the stage. And he wound up and he kicked this kid in the face. He knocked him right out. And it was, the kid was pressed against the barrier. And I'm looking at him, and he's like, people are just like, they didn't even know what happened, actually. I mean, people looked over, but he was just out. And after the show, this kid's standing outside the door, and he's like, I'm going to get this guy, Yeah. And he wanted to get a piece of Manson because he did that to him. And Frankie, I told Frankie, the tour manager, see this guy over here? He's about ready to rush your door. Look at him. Both sides of his face is black and blue. Mm-hmm. Got little buckle marks in it and shit, and the round circle eyelets from the shoelaces. And so Frankie talks to the guy and takes him in, and they gave him some signed autographs, and he came out the proudest guy, rubbing that face and just like saying, "Look at what Manson did to me,"
Yeah, right.
It was
Yeah.
pretty funny the way they handled it, because he was a pretty big dude, and he was pissed for sure. He was mad. He got his bell rung, but
yeah. Lesson learned: don't be grabbing at Manson's boots.
Yeah, I mean, anybody on stage, they got that white tape in the front to show them not to step off, but it's also for us photographers, don't set your shit on the stage.
Yeah.
Yep. I saw one chick performer in Ohio, in Akron, and she was in her hometown. People can figure it out. She told this one guy, keep your beers off the stage. He was in the pit, but he was like, the way the pit was set up that night, it was photographer pit, but there was like some VIPs, I guess, in this area. And this guy put his beer back up there, and she just kicked the thing, and I got not most of it, but I mean, I got wet from it, but it's just like this jerk just didn't listen, so she just...
Was it really hard filming live performances? Was that harder than anything else, doing like live concert footage?
Well, with film, it was very difficult. There weren't many of us that could do it well. I still love to look at film. But when digital came around, it became fairly easy.
Is that because you didn't have to change film in the middle of the show, or is that just because of the ease of use?
The low light situation with digital was much easier to deal with than film.
Okay.
Light, and low light is the key word.
Sure.
So, and when you got low light and people are moving, you got to use a slower shutter speed, and they're blurry, and so everybody had their little special things that they did to make it work. And talking about easier. Am I talking too much?
No, it's a talk show. Go ahead, talk.
Yeah, it's your chance, Bob.
Yeah, talking about easier. Back when we had to shoot film, we would shoot slides, and you can get Ektachrome slides done in a couple of hours, and then you send them overnight FedEx to your agent, or if you're in New York, and that most agents are in New York or they're in Chicago or LA.
Yeah.
And you had to develop it and get it right to your agent next day, or sometimes if you were shooting print film, it took a couple of days to get the stuff there. And once it went digital, now you shoot, your camera goes right to their desk, right from the stage.
Yeah, right through email.
Well, right through your camera, not even email.
Oh, sure, yeah, I suppose.
And I'd rather edit it first and send it right to them. So I don't do it that way, but there's people that do.
Yeah.
But my regular way now is I'll shoot the show and go home and edit a couple, 20 out and send them to the client, before I go to bed that night. And they're usually being used somewhere the next day.
That's cool that technology has made it a lot easier to do that kind of stuff, which stands to reason, because technology has aided in a lot of things, over the years. I remember when I was a kid, I used to be a projectionist at a little movie theater where I grew up, and I was maybe 14, 15 years old. I remember the reel upon reel of film that would come in to show one movie.
Yeah.
And now you go to see a movie, it's all digital, and they download them, and there's none of that hard work involved anymore. So yeah, it's kind of made everything better in a lot of ways, but also you kind of miss that nostalgia of film.
Yeah, I still shoot once in a while with film, just for the heck of it, just to keep my chops, I guess.
So Bob, when you would go out on tour, how long would you follow a band? For weeks, months?
Yeah, never months. I'd usually be able to get a job done in 2 weeks, and then you'd meet back up with them. again. Depending on if you nailed everything that they wanted, they usually get something else for you to do. But you'd meet up with them again maybe a month or so later, or when they got close to your city, and you'd show them what you got, because everything's got to be approved, especially when you're on tour with them, because you're getting stuff that nobody else is getting. And, you start showing that stuff off, and you're not going to last.
Yeah, exactly. Well, the question I also had was, you got a new rock band versus an older rock band. Was it easier to shoot the older, experienced rock stars because they kind of knew where to stand and what to do for the photographer, versus maybe a young band that didn't have as much experience being filmed?
Yeah, I think that's. I think it evens itself out, because there's some old timers that give it to you, like Kiss. When you shoot Kiss, each one of those guys look at you and they give you the looks, like Paul Stanley's got the devil sign with the pick on his tongue, and he's pointing right at you with the other hand. That's his that's his key shot. And Gene's got the tongue going,
Yeah.
And they go right down the line and look at each photographer pretty much. So Elton John does that too. He knows he can see the pit, and he goes right along, and he doesn't move around much anymore. He sits at the keys and gives you that big smile of his, and it's not as flamboyant either.
Question from one of our listeners: did you ever have the opportunity to shoot David Bowie? And
Yeah.
if so, what was he like to work with?
He's an intellectual. I didn't get to talk to him too much. I didn't hang out with him. I shot him twice, both times in Toronto. The one time was with Nine Inch Nails. He was really approachable and sharp, just really sharp dude. Yeah.
I interviewed David Bowie a few different times for radio, and he was always very nice guy, very smart, smart.
Most of those guys.
Yeah, very, very easy to interview, because he would come in, he knew exactly what to say, how to say it. He also knew he'd ask how long the interview is. That way he knew what points he needed to hit at what time.
Yeah.
It was a breeze with David Bowie. It was a breeze.
Yeah. Yeah, the pros really do know their stuff, The Goo Goo Dolls, they're probably a couple, but Robbie and John, they're really a couple of the best guys to interview that you'll see. They're just they keep things flowing and laughing, and they get serious at times, and I think they know all the tricks and stuff like that. And a lot of these older bands don't even interview anymore.
Not really. No, not very much. Not like they used to.
Yeah.
And why is that, Bob?
I don't know. I just don't think they need it. I was thinking the Stones don't do a lot of press anymore, but they don't need it. They got so much merchandise and stuff.
Yeah. And Keith Richards, we were just discussing this before you came on. He's like, we're curious of how he keeps going.
So is everybody else.
Cockroaches, and if there's a nuclear war, it's gonna be Keith Richards and cockroaches that survives. I am confident of that.
Yeah, I think he might have even said that at one point himself. But as big as those guys are, they're super cool, man. They are just so nice. It's like, a big rule to remember is when you're backstage, and keep your camera in your bag, because it scares the shit out of them.
Sure.
Scares the heck out of them when you walk into their dressing room. You got a camera hanging there too.
Well, yeah, because it's off time. At that point, they're themselves. That's their private time.
And not the last time, but a few times back with the Stones, I was with my friend who was, he's kind of like Keith Richards' caretaker. He has more than one. He's got one serious guy, I think, or girl. And then my friend, Keith wasn't feeling well, so he was taking him in some soup before the show. And I was with him, and, we were hanging out. He's become a close friend. So we're walking through there, and, it was a weird setup with the dressing rooms. I had to walk through Mick's room, who was standing in the doorway with Charlie, to get to Keith's. And rather than, like, I didn't even want to say hello or anything because they were in the middle of talking right in the doorway. So I just had my arm around my camera, bag all closed up, and went to the other side of the room while my friend went into Keith's room and took care of that. And I didn't even face him. I was kind of like sideways to him, just looking down this hallway. And I don't remember Mick's exact words, but he goes, we know you. You take our pictures, you could say hello, And I just didn't want to bother you because you guys were in the middle. They had it was kind of like Ramba music they kept on putting on, listening to. And I think it was on a cassette to boot. It was really like a Walkman or something old,
Yeah.
It was tape. People don't listen to them anymore. But that's what they were listening to. But, that night when I shot him, he saw where I was, and he walked right up to me and went right in my face, and he gave me the best stuff I ever got from him. But he does get, but he's really easy to shoot, even if he doesn't do something like that.
Yeah.
They all are. I mean, they're
so iconic too.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. I know you saw the one I sent you of Keith with it looks like he's got wings on.
Yes.
He's sticking his tongue out.
Yep.
What is he doing? I don't know. But they do that. They mug for you. They give you good stuff.
Are you in contact with these people to this day, Bob?
I don't have their phone numbers. I'm in contact with their people.
Yeah, but I mean, do you ever get a chance to talk about the old days, stuff like that?
Well, a lot of them I am, but those guys, they love Buffalo. They're not coming here on this little leg that's coming up in a couple of weeks. But doing Pittsburgh and Toronto.
Yeah.
They always have a hub where they stay. When they do like an East Coast thing or whatever, and they fly into the shows and fly back to their hub every night after the show. Again, they call it like they Elvis out of the building. As soon as it's over, they go right to the police escort, and it's right to their plane. No dressing rooms, no nothing, I get to hang with them a tiny bit, those ones. And when I took my daughter to Boston to see the Stones, well, she was working in Boston, and I had an assignment there, so I took her to the show. And of course, they took care of us real well with catering and all that kind of stuff, because that's the way they are. They're just top notch.
Yeah.
Kind people,
Sure.
Just stay out of the production manager's way, and don't be where you're not supposed to be, and everything's cool. So we're sitting there, my daughter and I, and she's taking on Ellie, because there's places where the band eats, and then there's places where everyone else eats, but the band doesn't go to that band place. They come into the other place and they visit. So
Hey guys, we're using Poshmark and you should too. Do you have things that you don't wear anymore? Poshmark is seriously the easiest way to make room in your closet, make some cash, and also snag a bargain. It's the coolest reseller with the best brands like Lululemon, Nike, Reformation, and Gucci for up to 70% off. DJ Khaled has a closet, and Serena Williams. Download the app today. Enter Podcast 10 when you sign up for $10 off your first purchase on Poshmark.
And we're back with breaking news. The new Coke Zero Sugar might be the best Coke ever.
That's right, Jim. With an improved taste and 0 calories, make sure... Jim.
Ooh, yes, this tastes like the best Coke ever to me.
We're on the air.
I need to try it first. With zero sugar and now even more delicious, is the new Coca-Cola Zero Sugar the best Coke ever? Pick some up at Cub today.
Her and I were sitting at a table. There was there's a big table. There's enough room for like 5 or 6 more people. And Keith's son and his grandkids come in, and they sit down right next to it, right there, like it was nothing. And I said, "Are you expecting any more?" And he goes, he said something. He said, "Why is that?" I said, "Well, I mean, you need our seats." He goes, "No." I mean, that he meant no. Don't, we're not going to ask you to move.
Mm-hmm.
So my daughter was pretty impressed sitting next to Keith's or Nick's son, who looks just like him, eating dinner. Cool.
So who would hire you, Bob? I mean, you would get hired by, I would imagine, from newspapers from the band managers to possibly even doing some album covers.
Yeah, I've done some album covers and plenty of tour books and posters and T-shirts, and
cool.
Usually the management gets a hold of you, the band manager itself, or an assistant of the band manager, and say, we request your services to shoot a couple of live shows, to get some good T-shirt material and some poster stuff, and like with if it's a tour, like I've taken up with Manson a few times and just rode on the bus for 2 weeks. And I've got some really good candids of him that no one else has got. It was right when his mom was real sick too, which I didn't know until a few days in, because he looked so sad just looking out the window. But he used it in the tour book. The book was at the Grotesque Burlesque tour book, which is real heavy arch stock. I mean, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful book. Yes.
Oh man, very cool, very cool. I just want to bust in for a second, say everyone that's just tuning into the show, you're listening to a Bill. Almost did it again, but I did not do it. Bob Mussell, and we're talking about his time as a photographer on the road with some of the greatest and biggest rock stars of all time, and Bob just kind of started as a passion, and then it became a job, and really it really kind of became an organic start there, just because that's how most of these great things happen, is just organically. And now that we're all caught up, I gotta ask you, when you're on that tour bus, are you, what's that like? Is that surreal? Do you think to yourself, ever have a point where you say, how the hell am I here?
I pinched myself a few times, yeah, for sure. Yeah, absolutely. But once they get to know you, it's all fun and games. It's really nice, and you learn how to disappear and when not to. One of the things that happened on the tour bus, the one I usually would drive with Manson and the tour manager, and his security guard and his wife or girlfriend. And there was a few times when I was with the band, which I didn't care which one I was. I was just happy to be there. But I almost got my eyebrows shaved off. It's one of the things that's happened to people that have stayed with the band.
Yeah.
They sneak up to you and they shave off your eyebrows because they don't have any. They all just paint them on, But I heard him talking about it earlier. I was in my bunk, and I heard him checking the buzz. I heard the buzz of the shears, and I just sat up and started working in my bunk like you're not gonna get.
Yeah. So the tour bus, right? How big are we talking? How big are these things? They're not very big, are they?
No, they're big. I
really.
Yeah, I mean,
they're usually Prevost buses.
Yeah, Van Hool and Prevost. Yeah, they're gorgeous inside. My gosh,
really,
absolutely beautiful.
$2 million, $3 million.
Oh,
yeah. They got 60-inch screen TVs and heated bathroom floors. I mean, everything that you would want in your home, they have it on their tour bus.
Okay.
Some of them just have one bedroom in the back.
Yeah.
Some have like maybe 4, bunks on the sides and then the back. And then some, I've heard of tours where these guys had like 8-9 people in one tour bus. It's freaking disgusting by the end of the tour.
I bet
stuff.
that's a lot. That's a lot of humanity.
Yeah.
So was Marilyn Manson's tour bus decorated a little different?
Not really.
No.
No.
So he was just
regular.
But he wasn't on. Oh, go ahead, Doug. Sorry about that.
No, I've been on a few tour buses, and usually they're just some of them. I would imagine are renting them.
Yeah, most of them are. Yeah, but they're designed for that person.
Right.
Yeah. Roberts, I think, is a big one down south. Like they're still around Roberts coach lines and that. They design them right for however these people want them, and then the outside's just one big piece of tape, It's not a paint job, I don't think. Usually it's just they tape over the top everything.
A wrap. They wrap it.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So these are rented buses that they don't own them. They rent them for the tour duration, and that's
Probably.
about it.
I think most of them are rented. Yeah.
Yeah. It kind of surprised me that the tour bus, and then I would have thought for sure you're gonna say the talent like Marilyn Manson and the larger talent they fly. I would have thought for sure you're gonna say they'd fly and they wouldn't ride the bus, but no, it turns out that they're right there with you guys. They're riding the bus.
Yeah, sometimes not.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna tell you is I did a thing with Deep Purple in 2012. Where it was one of the last longer jobs that I did, and we stayed in Toronto at the Ritz-Carlton. It was just got done being remodeled. It was absolutely gorgeous. And I got up there the day after I got up there. I had my wife come up and say, "You got to come up here and stay with me," just because it was just gorgeous, and she would appreciate a room like that. And we flew out of Toronto. I did like 7 or 8 shows where after the show we'd fly back to Toronto, and that was our hub, and the next day would be an off day, and then we'd fly to Ottawa, Quebec, and then come back. And that was in I don't think it was their plane, but it could have been. And their guitar player, Steve Morse, he was going to fly a couple of times because he's a licensed pilot. But
okay,
it might have happened. I bet you did. They probably let him. But that was the whole crew and band on one plane, and that's the way to do it. I'll tell you, that was so nice and comfortable. Go back to that same room every night.
I met a few rock stars that would not fly. That would ride the bus, that wouldn't do it, wouldn't fly, all because of the day the music died. They had that superstitious belief, and all these other rock stars and musicians that perished in plane wrecks, stuff like that. So I met a few of them, but that would have to be the way to go, man. Flying would be the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, the Stones, I've never been on their plane, but they got a jet. I mean, they just get there. I mean, probably take them, half an hour to get to New York from Buffalo, New York City. Yeah. Usually a little over an hour.
Yeah. I would imagine they're at a point in their career where they really don't want to ride in the bus. They want to get somewhere quick.
Yeah, and a lot of these, I found a lot of these guys. I don't know how it came up the one time, but without saying any names, they don't even know how much money they actually have. They just talk to their accountant and ask, "Can I have this or can I not have this?"
Yeah.
How would you like that?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm too much of a control freak. I mean, I would want to know exactly where the money's going, how much I got, what's investments I have, stuff like that. I would imagine some are very into it like that, but
I bet you most of them are probably like that. They want to know a penny after what happened to Billy Joel.
Yeah, you hear time and time again that somebody close to them thought that was, they was a trusted individual screwed him over.
Yeah, it's happened a lot.
Yeah.
Think about it. Yeah. I think it happened to 9 Inch Nails, too.
I mean, I think too much money is almost a curse.
Yeah, well, I'd like to try that out.
Well, yeah.
I did real well in the '90s. I can't complain at all. You know, after 9/11 and all that, and the digital age changes. Record companies. I mean, earlier Doug was asking how did I get my jobs. It used to be I'd get an assignment from a magazine, through my agent or through just getting to know the people at the magazine. They'd call you up and say, or I would actually even call them and say, hey, so and so's coming through town here. Do you want some stuff? And they'd say, they had a story coming up. And yeah, sure, send it in. But it was like magazines would call you. Some merchandise companies, they line you up with some stuff to get some merch. Endorsement companies, like I've done some stuff for Yamaha and Ampeg and Korg and
very cool.
Taylor.
Very,
yeah, there's big money in doing that stuff. Premier Drums and Ginger, Kenneth Wilson, the drummer, he's with White Zombie now. He's got just a beautiful, beautiful set of drums. And
I bet. I was curious, Bob, how did you and Doug meet? At first when I heard you're coming on, I thought maybe you and Doug knew each other just from, the industry. Being both of you guys in photography. But no, that's not the case.
Well, I was watching a Monster Quest from, I think it was 2010. And in one of the few interviews that I haven't seen Doug do a lot of interviews on live, but when I did see him talk, and he had mentioned that he thought that his main theory, I think, is that Sasquatch was in the ape family, and it kind of struck me because a lot of people still think that, but it seems like the census now is looking at it differently. And I just out of the blue, I sent him a message on Facebook, and asked him what he thought. Do you still think that about Sasquatch being that part of I can't think of the right word for it. Why am I not?
I remember. I do remember the message now.
But,
I think I told you I was open-minded.
Yeah. Well, you told me that you have a number of theories.
Yes.
Now, and that's it's a good answer if you don't want to answer somebody. So, but that's good. I mean, because I don't know either, and I watched the show called. I watch it regularly. I'm really intrigued by it. It's called The Facts by How to Hunt. And the guy that does it his name is Steve Ishdell.
Yep, I'm aware of him, yep.
And his main thing is to these people that are being ridiculed for seeing these things have a place to go and tell him that they saw this thing and not get laughed in their face or tell them they're nuts. And his following is huge. I mean, it's huge.
Yeah,
like
and growing.
Millions a month.
Yeah.
And he's doing a really good service for these people. And he's a hard ass, man. But you know what? I really like him, and I think he makes a lot of sense. He's open-minded. He trusts a lot of it coming from. He thinks they're a being, and I agree. And he trusts a lot of what the Native Americans have to say, which they're more familiar with this thing than any of us, I think.
Sure.
But Bob, how did you get interested in the what the heck were you watching Monster Quest for?
Yeah, that's a freaking great show, man. I used to love watching that. I got scared a couple times out hunting. We bought our first house that we bought was, and we were told it was on an Indian burial ground, the area, and it was definitely lot of Native Americans there because it's the city of Tonawanda on the Niagara River. It's all comes from Native American language. And we had
This Labor Day, HomeDepot.com is your one-stop shop for all things decor, with up to 30% off furniture, mattresses, home decor, and kitchenware. Online, it's a Labor Day savings event. Out there, it's a whole new way to enjoy your space. Whether it's finishing touches or a total transformation, find everything you need to make your home feel more like home at HomeDepot.com/decor. Free delivery on select items $45 or more, U.S. only, valid through September 15th, 2021.
Something go up the stairs one time up to the second floor when my wife and I were sitting in the living room, and we both saw it at the same time. Both looked, and it was just like be a ghost or whatever. And maybe it was a car going by, a reflection coming through the window, but it happened more than once, and that got me. And the Sasquatch thing, I was this one place we used to hunt at. I always got the shit scared out of me at this one place. I mean, a grown adult, and I would just get wigged out. I couldn't stay there. One time I just ended up going back to the car and not hunting all day. I just felt the creeps.
What? So it was just a creepy feeling? I mean, can you explain a little bit more, Bob?
Someone was watching me, and I was just scared. I was scared to death. I never told anybody. I never told my brother-in-law, who was the guy that took me hunting all the time. I still love that. But yeah, that.
So you're out hunting, and you would just out of the blue, you'd feel fear.
There's this one spot I used to walk through. That sometimes it would be cold. I'd walk by it and be no problem. And the one time I was standing on the outside area of it, and I just felt like I just got really afraid.
A foreboding feeling, you shouldn't be here.
Red.
Kind of feeling.
Get out of here.
Do you think you were getting zapped by like infrasound, possibly?
Yeah, possibly, yeah. That's what I'm thinking now after watching your shows and watching Steve's show.
Yeah. So you're looking for answers. You're looking for answers to try to explain why in the heck you were so afraid.
Yeah, it hasn't. I don't think it's really affected me. I mean, I did stop hunting, but it's only because I play golf and I fish and I work, and I had I joined a country club, so I mean, it took out I had to stop doing one thing at least, But yeah, it was scary and spooky, and I kind of put it out of my mind for a long, long time, probably 40 years.
Yeah.
And so did that happen in a area where they've had sightings?
No idea.
Don't know.
I mean, there's sightings everywhere. I mean, this is New York State. This was in Bolivar. It was actually Belfast, New York, and there was a place called Bog Road, B-O-G Road.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that was at the back end of it, and it was just a big bog, and it was spooky and scary. And there were some huge monster deer there. There was a lot of partridge, grouse.
Yeah.
And it was a gorgeous place. But yeah, there's a lot of sightings there. Chautauqua Lake is another place that every summer we fish there. I haven't lately just because of the health thing, but every summer we would, a bunch of us guys would go there and fish for a week or two. I usually could never stay more than a few days at a time and come back, because I just couldn't get off of work that long.
Yeah.
But I did. Somebody would move right in. That's the way photography is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did any of your rock star clients ever mention anything paranormal, Bigfoot, ever, or was it always talking about women and?
Yeah, I never talked. I never discussed that.
Okay.
I really just the last few years when after watching the how to hunt thing.
Yeah.
Hearing other people talking about it all the time on a regular basis, people writing in their stories, and I think there might be a little bit of, your BS meter goes off once in a while, but, most of the time, these people are just so happy to say something, but they don't even go out in the woods anymore because these things are so big and scary and hideous looking that, they're not all friendly. Some of them are. Some of them let you be, but there's some really nasty ones, we're told.
Yeah. I would imagine that Bigfoot's like anything else, runs the gamut of personalities.
Yeah, for sure.
There's not always nice people hanging around. Some people are kind of mean folks. I would imagine it's the same thing there. What's your feeling? What do you think Bigfoot is, Bob?
I don't know. I think people are leaning towards, with all the orbs and that are cited by them. It's hard to say. I don't want to put myself on a limb. It's already hard enough to admit that you believe in them because of all the other people. I've never seen one, but so many people are seeing them everywhere, and they're coming clean with it. I think that they're actually a being that we've encroached on their land from all of the lumber, the mining, the lumber. We're just pushing them right out of their home, and that's why we're seeing them. And they don't have as much room to hide anymore. I think they've been here a long time. You can't talk about them thinking that they're the Nephilim. That's a big theory from a lot of people, and that is freaking so scary.
So, Bob, I'm actually surprised. You're actually quite into the topic. I can tell.
Yeah,
I really like the topic.
It's interesting.
Well, you're looking for answers, don't you agree? You're looking for answers.
Yeah, for sure. Everyone is. Do you think that the government knows what these things are?
I do.
Probably.
I don't want to get in trouble because you know what? You can shut your show down. They want us to all believe it's a primate. Maybe some of them are.
We don't know.
Yeah, some of them do look like apes, but they say there's like 4 types.
Four types of Bigfoot, you're saying?
Yeah, reported. He's
he's
referring to physical description.
Gotcha. Yep.
The Native Americans, they got the Wendigo, which is something similar. I don't get that one at all. So
Bob, there are 500, no less than 500 different native names for these creatures, from every tribe coast to coast, all through Canada, all through the U.S. Territories here, South America. Even the natives there even have names.
Yep.
How did that come about?
And they didn't. And it's not like they had a big union meeting.
No,
these tribes. These tribes
communicate with each other.
Exactly. They didn't even talk with each other.
I don't think the Iroquois ever talked to the Ojibwa.
Yeah.
They just didn't communicate. These stories were just their own stories. Period.
And they just happened to line up. So that speaks to the legitimacy of what these that they're there.
The Yeti, the one over in Russia. How about the female one that had a child or two?
Xena.
Yeah, that's her.
Yep.
That's true shit.
Yeah, it is. The stories. It didn't happen that long ago. We have photos of her son, Zawit.
Yeah.
So when you have photos of somebody's son, and he definitely looks different.
He's got some big bones, and they said he could run as fast as a horse, and he was as strong as an ox.
Well, why don't we stop there for a second? Can you guys explain the situation with this child for those that are just hearing that kind of news for the first time?
Pardon me?
Is this an offspring? What I'm asking is for everyone that's just tuning in
that
might not know what we're referring to. Is this an offspring of a Bigfoot?
Well, yeah. Okay. Well, I can just tell the story really quick.
Okay.
In Russia, there was supposedly a female Bigfoot captured by, I believe it was the military, and somehow a farmer ended up taking her in, kept her locked in a barn, ended up domesticating this creature, this wild woman. And then apparently, I don't really remember the story exactly how she got pregnant.
Townsmen used to do her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
The townsmen would come in drunk and
oh yes, yeah. Yep. And she ended up getting pregnant and had a child, and the child has been, there's photographs of him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I actually did some DNA on some of his bones. Yeah. It came back human, but we didn't get a full sequence. DNA back then wasn't so great. So at some point we hope to retest.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
because we know where his grave is.
Yeah.
I like the facts. You know what I mean? When you get the real facts, you can't deny it.
Yep.
So
Bob, okay, so you're a photographer.
Mm-hmm.
A listener asked, do you have any tips for getting a good clear photograph of Bigfoot?
No. It's low. Most likely it's going to be low light. I don't know. I try to get a really long lens from a far way away and, focus on one area.
Do you think it would be wise for people to start carrying around the older 35 millimeter spring wind? You can just go click, with an infinity lens where you don't have to, power up the camera. I'll go through all the menus, blah, blah, blah. You can just point and shoot.
The way I hear it, most people that see one, they can have their camera phone right in their hand and not take a picture because they're so friggin',
sure.
Maybe they get zapped, like you say.
Yeah.
But, you could be sitting there with a camera in your hand and not take it because you're so scared or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's happened a lot, I've heard.
Right.
On the show.
Well, that's true. Plus, a modern cell phone has got a crappy lens. It's still very good for close-up work, but when you start getting any distance, it's just not good. Yeah. But don't you think it would be really cool, Bob, if researchers just took the old spring wind 35 millimeter where there was just a button to push, just click. Done.
I think they should try everything because nobody's getting it. There's a few, but there's supposed to be a guy up in Vancouver that he's got a whole bunch of really good pictures. And every time I've seen good pictures, they're not good pictures or they're fake, I think.
Yeah, me too.
The good ones you look at, that they're supposed to be good, and they're so freaking blurry anyway.
Yeah.
Or doctored up.
Question from the audience. I got a question from the...
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. Keep it with film. This pertains to film. Question from the audience is, what do you think, being that you are a photographer and have been for most of your adult life, what do you feel about the Patterson-Gimlin film?
I think it's real. They tried to duplicate it so many times. Was it M.K. Davis? He's torn the thing apart, put it back together, and, a million times.
Yeah, I have. I've spent 20 years on it. That's just...
I say our own Doug Hychek is also done.
Yeah. The more you study that film, the more the red flags fall away. Versus pop up.
God, you've got some inventions that are just unbelievable, Doug. Your underwater camera stuff is like, holy, the squid thing.
Yeah. We've done a lot of cool stuff. I've been lucky. Been able to...
That all luck,
build a lot of cool...
Oh, Doug, take some credit, man. I know you're so humble. You're such a humble guy.
Man.
He's a very humble man, Doug is. But yeah, he's a game changer. He's done a lot of great stuff out there.
The muskie thing that you did in Minnesota, I think it was.
Yeah.
I was walking through and get chewed up in the Niagara River. We have a different kind of a muskie here. It's called a tiger muskie.
Tiger muskie, which is a cross between a northern pike and a muskie.
That's some people say no, but I agree with you. Yeah, because I've caught probably 100 of them, and they're so
aggressive, very aggressive.
There's
really even more aggressive than muskellunge that we have. So.
Yep.
Yeah, there's so many of them, and once I showed my wife, there's a spot called Strawberry Island and Motorboat Island and Strawberry Island in the Niagara River, and it's just packed with them. You can float down, and you'll see them just laying there, anywhere from 30 inches to they look like they're 60 inches long, and
Ooh.
My wife.
Bob, we got to go fishing.
Hey guys, we're using Poshmark and you should too. Do you have things that you don't wear anymore? Poshmark is seriously the easiest way to make room in your closet, make some cash, and also snag a bargain. It's the coolest reseller with the best brands like Lululemon, Nike, Reformation, and Gucci for up to 70% off. DJ Khaled has a closet and Serena Williams. Download the app today. Enter Podcast 10 when you sign up for $10 off your first purchase on Poshmark.
This is UCare's Health Plans Decomplicated, where we ride our team bike and answer health plan questions simply. With us again is UCare's Franny. Ready?
I'm all set.
Are UCare's documents available in Spanish for my mom?
Absolutely. And if she calls customer service, we can get her an interpreter there, too. And we have interpreters for over 200 languages.
Gracias, Franny. Talk to one of our plan decomplicators today. UCare. People-powered health plans.
Nice bike, by the way.
Aw, thanks.
I had 2 boats. I got one left in my driveway, and I just the summertime's knocking the crap out of my lungs. Mm-hmm. But I got plenty of charter friends here too. We could go. You want to go? I'll take you.
I want to go. I love. I've never heard of that many tiger muskies. We have them here in Minnesota, but they're still pretty rare. I've caught a few of them, but I mean. They're considered the fish of 10,000 casts. You got to make 10,000 casts. But if you got them stacked like cordwood,
there's a lot. You can go out one day and you won't catch any. You might catch a 5-footer, but you're going to catch a whole boatload of 30 to 40 inches on spinners.
Yeah.
That's a monster fish.
Crazy after these big panther martins.
Yeah.
Yep. A 40-inch fish is about 18 pounds.
Yeah,
44 is 25.
Yeah, they get kind of fat, don't they?
Yeah, 44-inch. So if you get a fish 44 inches by like 19 in girth, they're about 25 pounds.
Back when I was in my late teens, early 20s, it opens June 30th every year in the Niagara River. And on that night, and for the next couple of weeks, there would be parades of little boats. Most of them are like, 16-foot runabouts, long line, and because the deepest it gets is like 25 feet. You're mostly in about 6 to 10 feet of water, and it's up and down. You got to know where you're at. Later in the season, there's way too much seaweed. You can't troll for more than 50 yards without getting, hung up. So, there literally they called it the Golden Triangle. You would line it up with the Chevy plant. There was a boat club in Canada, and then Motorboat Island. And you do this big triangle, and everyone was just in line. It was awesome. And everyone was catching fish all the time. But I haven't gone and done that in a long time.
So how do we go, Bob? How do we go from Marilyn Manson, the Rolling Stones, to Bigfoot? Now we're talking about catching fish.
It's all things that I love to do.
And you were worried, and Bob, you were worried that we weren't going to have anything to talk about.
Right.
No, I just never did this before.
I was surprised. I was like, you realize you're going to start getting requests now.
No, I won't.
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah, you will. Oh, yeah.
No idea. You have to charge them, Doug. We're gonna have to charge these people next time.
No, you can't charge for podcasts.
No,
But
this is fun. No, honestly, God, I'm joking. You know that, right?
no, I know. But you'll have a ball. You're going to have another guy contact you, especially if you're into Bigfoot, and you'll do another one, and then you'll have two guys contact you, and it'll.
And then the rock and roll people are going to be like, "Oh my God, we got the guy that did the photography for this concert. Let's get him on." Stuff like that.
Wait for somebody that's going to call me up and say, "What did you say I said?"
So is there some really cool story you can tell us while you've been out on tour? You don't even have to give names, just something you saw that was just, oh my God, it was real cool.
Oh my God, I can't. It's just too gross.
Oh,
geez.
No, this is kids' show. This is terrible.
Okay, well then skip that. How about something really interesting you saw, or something you could figure out?
I'll tell you a very interesting, amazing concert that was probably my favorite show to ever do. And it was 2004, 4th of July, and it was called Goo Goo Dolls Live in Buffalo, July 4th, 2004. And we were all there for, the band came in, and for a week, I followed them around and took pictures. I took them out on the boat fishing. We went go-kart racing. We played golf. We just followed the band around for a week. And Anthony Bon Jovi and a guy named Carl Lee, they were the film company doing this. And it was the biggest setup I've ever seen in my whole life, ever. For a music video. They had 18 high-def, state-of-the-art cameras that nobody else even had these things yet. And the lenses alone were worth $190,000 each.
Ooh.
$1,900 each lenses. They had 18 of these. And they had a helicopter. I was supposed to go up in a helicopter and do, helicopter shots from up in a helicopter in the concert. It's all at night. Long story short, it started out a beautiful, beautiful night, and about half an hour into the Goo Goo Dolls show, maybe even 15 minutes, it started monsoon pouring so hard that everybody was super saturated. I mean, almost every photographer I knew that wasn't prepared or was just there doing like a small assignment, they lost their equipment. I mean, I had a tent and everything. I was pretty set up. I had some glitches in my cameras, but out of those 18 cameras, they all went down at least once or twice. At one time, there was only one camera that was running, and they had to get, then they get more running. But they never were without a camera. And if you look at the DVD, CD, I did the album artwork on it, and there's a booklet inside, and on the DVD, I did a lot of work on it. You can see how wet it was. It's called Goo Goo Dolls Live in Buffalo, July 4th, 2004. And it's, it's a CD, DVD set. And it's raining so hard, these guys are sopping wet. I mean, they're so wet. Standing there with electric guitars and microphones, and they just plowed through it. I got
cool.
Yeah.
Did you ever do anything with do you remember Eldo Nova?
Yeah. I remember him. Everybody.
You never. Yeah, I used to go fishing with Eldo.
Really?
I used to go do, fish for northern pike.
Is he French Canadian?
He's he's Canadian, and from Nova Scotia.
Okay.
And just super neat guy, super smart, but definitely into fishing.
Yeah, there's a lot of us out there. Golf too. There's some really good golfers out there. Yeah. Like the guys in Green Day, Trey and Mike. They're real good.
You know who's really good at it too? Alice Cooper. Alice Cooper.
Everyone wants to play with Alice. I'd love to play with Alice. I've talked to him about it, but it's usually tour time, and I've been in Phoenix a couple of times, but he's never been there when I've been there. And I know how to get a hold of him. I've shot him probably 20 times, so I've talked with him. And there's another guy that lives down there. His nickname is Phoenix. He's a bass player in Lincoln Park. He's pretty much a scratch golfer. He's really good. Speaking of Alice Cooper, he signed. Back in 2002, a handful of us guys in Buffalo got together and we started a not-for-profit. We didn't. It just came about that it turned into a not-for-profit. We just wanted to do something musically, for the community, and it ended up turning into. It's called Music is Art. And Robbie Takak, he's the main cheese man. He's just solid as a rock, and it's his baby. But there's a handful of us that started it, But he's the most noted person, so he's the guy. But it's been together since 2002, and we put music back into the schools. It's turned into we got a full board of directors, and Alice and many other. We have auctions, we have a festival, but we have auctions every year of signed instruments. Like I got one from the Stones one year. I think we got like 12 grand for it. And Alice signed one, and he drew a caricature of himself on it too. It was freaking beautiful. And that was for Music is Art and for our auction. And, it's funny, not funny. It's nice how bands, they really love to give back. If you ask, they really feel good about it,
Sure.
And you get a guitar for $100, they signed it. Could be worth who knows.
How about Cheap Trick? Did you ever work with Cheap Trick?
Yep. Yeah, directly. I had assignments with them. I had an assignment for. I had to get some shots of Rick Nielsen.
Yeah.
All this guitar, especially
Rick is super nice.
Yeah.
I went on I joined up with like the Eldonova Band and Heart, and then they would tour with Cheap Trick, and we'd be able to have drinks with them. And I remember I took my little brother one time, and Rick had too much to drink. And of course, my little brother, he was like, God, Cheap Trick was his idols. And my brother wasn't even old enough to be in the bar. but we were all drinking together, and Rick had a little bit much to drink that night. And my brother and I helped Rick up to his room. My brother looked at me and he goes, "Oh my God, I can't believe just." But when you're with these guys, you don't even think of it. And certainly, I would imagine by you not being a fan, by just being a guy that just pretty much treated them as normal.
Yeah.
That's where you ended up getting ahead, because certainly you just can't be a fan.
They got millions of ass kissers around, that's for sure.
Yeah. I know. I also know Cheap Trick really well because they're kind of a local band to us. They're from Eau Claire, Wisconsin, so they're not that far away. Yeah, yep. And so I dealt with them a lot. And
I didn't even know they were from there.
Yeah, they're from Eau Claire.
Twiggy Ramirez's favorite band is Cheap Trick.
Yep.
He wears their jacket all the time.
Yep.
Heart. Oh, you mentioned Heart.
Yeah.
Did you?
My nephew was the drummer for Eldonova, Billy Carmassi, and his brother Denny Carmassi was the drummer for Heart. And that's how I ended up meeting a lot of these people.
Yeah, their bass player Mike Inez I've met a few times. He's with Alice in Chains now, and he probably plays with Heart still too. I mean.
Yeah. Yep.
Super nice guy. What a hell of a bass player. And his security guy was a good friend of mine. That's how I got closer to him, was through another bass player friend, Twiggy. And his security guy, gosh, why am I not forgetting his? Val Belchick. He was a huge football player. He passed away 2 years ago, and I just found out about it. I was floored. But then I got pictures of, after that happened, I had a picture of Mike with Val standing like off to the side stage with his arms crossed, just how they're supposed to be guarding their guy, making sure nobody runs up on stage and messes with him, you know. But I'm hoping Mike got a hold of that somehow. Because, it'd be a good remembrance picture for him.
Sure.
Val.
Sure.
So do you have a favorite photo, Bob? Just one photo that's your favorite.
I think it's got to be a picture of Steve Page. It's one of my first big ones. Steve Page from the Bare Naked Ladies. He jumps in the air a lot, and he's heavy. He's a heavy guy. And it was a low stage, and I was low. And he jumps up in the air, and his legs are crossed Indian style, and he looks like he's 8 feet off the ground. I swear to God, this is a film. It's done with film in like probably 95, 94. And I think they still use that photo. Steve still uses it. That's got to be it should be my favorite one, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Second favorite, Bob?
Jeez, I don't know.
Picture of Joel.
My wife.
Yeah, right.
I'm sorry.
By the way, tomorrow we're going to post a number of Bob's photographs up on Untold Radio website.
It's not one of my favorites, but because she doesn't look that good in it. But that picture of Courtney Love, that's in that group of pictures. That's the night that it was at Lollapalooza 1995 in Pittsburgh. And about it had to be after 3 songs. I was 3 songs and out that night per band. That means you're in a pit for 3 songs, then you got to leave. And there was so many stages there. I'd just go to another stage and shoot. I would keep busy. Unless I really liked the band. But long story short, about the 5th song, I hear all this commotion, and she throws the mic down. You hear feedback, and she's stamping, pissed off the stage. Somebody threw they might have just set it there because it landed at her feet. It was a spent shotgun shell.
Oh boy!
Attached to it about her. Too bad she didn't die first or choke on her vomit or something. Not her husband, because Kurt committed suicide. And that was just before that happened. That picture, and that was pretty bad. It's pretty bad to do somebody.
So Bob, are you going to write a book?
Yeah, they're going to be mostly pictures.
Well, yeah, of course.
But it's like some guys photographers. They write more than they put photos in. They just put maybe 20 really good killer photos, and then the rest is about them.
Yeah,
it's going to be about the pictures.
Well, when you get it done, Bob, I want to put a bid in to publish it for you.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you. I might take you up on that.
Yeah, no, I'd love to publish your book.
Question. One more question from the audience. Bob, did you ever have a chance to work with Bob Dylan? If so, what was that beauty.
I think it was in Manhattan, New York City, and I on my own dime, but I didn't have a dime to spend. Mm-hmm. I got accepted, credentials to shoot the show, and I got there, and he's made up his mind there were no photographers that night. Somehow somebody made a phone call, and I was allowed to be the only one. One song, that's it. The first song. I'm all excited. I'm in the pit. Friggin' manager comes out. Maybe not manager, but a stage worker and production guy.
Sure. Yeah.
Puts up a couple of C-stands, hangs a freaking white sheet over the top of it, and he sat behind the white sheet for the first song. I got a silhouette. That's about it.
Interesting. Yeah, Bob Dylan. He's something else.
Yeah, it happened.
Yeah. Yep.
So,
yep. I know years ago I interviewed Bob Dylan, and the only reason why I got the interview was I happened to live near his hometown.
Yeah, Virginia.
Yep. And so it was during the Love and Theft, or it was during the Modern Times album when that dropped. And they were all trying to get interviews, and I happened to work at, I contacted his people, and oddly enough, Bob Dylan calls the radio station where I was working in Duluth to talk to me directly.
Nice.
To just find out, because he didn't talk to me like, hey, I'm Bob Dylan. He actually talked to me like he was a fellow Minnesotan. And that's why he felt so comfortable. He said, yeah, I'll grant you your interview. So I was the only one for that album to get an interview. Just because I used the poll that I'm from near his hometown.
Yeah, a lot of times it's not even the musician that's telling you no,
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a lot of times I've had, I've taken people along with me that are college students or whatever that want to be a photographer. It isn't very often I get an extra pass, but, I'll get an extra pass and they'll go with me, and they can't shoot, but they can watch what I do or carry a bag or something.
Mm-hmm.
And just to get the feel of what it's like down there. So when they do get their credentials, they know what to do. And, oh, shit. What the hell?
That's kind of like how you get your foot in the door, though, right? I mean, you got to
Yeah.
start like that. I mean, no one's given a camera right away and say, go shoot this. You kind of got to earn your chops, and you got to be around the industry, I'm sure.
Well, what I would tell these younger photographers, people that want to be, is don't get an impression about what these people, these performers are like, because if you run into one of these, a super, he's in a bad mood and he's nasty to everybody, you really don't know what happened 5 minutes ago. He may have got some horrible freaking news. He might have slammed his finger in a door. You don't know.
Yeah.
But most of them in general, I'll tell you, are super nice. They're always like grateful for what they've achieved. The good big ones.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone has a bad day, and you hear press about some of these people that are the nicest people, and these guys bash the crap out of them. Because they ran into them in a bad day, or maybe they heard something about you where they don't want to have you interview them or something,
Yeah.
So, and I'll tell you, in general, most of these guys that are the big rock stars and big entertainers, I think, I don't know much about actors, the actresses, but the rock star guys most of them are pretty damn nice.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I found that to be true.
Yeah.
Well, that's one of the ways that they get ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Bob, we've got 7 minutes, 8 minutes? Do you want to tell us a ghost story?
A ghost story?
Well, you said you lived in a house that was on top of an Indian burial mound.
Hey, hang on 1 second, okay?
Yeah.
Hey, Donna. What all happened? Remember the ghost at Stark Street?
Live radio, folks.
Did it play the piano?
They claim they moved the bodies, but they only moved the stones.
Oh, yeah. Every time we left.
Yeah.
Because our daughter was there watching the baby. Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. The ghost would play the piano when we left.
Turn the water on?
We turned the water on every once in a while.
Okay, well, give us some background info.
Okay, we're newly married. We got one child that's probably 5 or 4 or something. The other one's 10. And they both slept upstairs, and it was just a small little house. It was our first home, and I can remember the fog that used to go up the stairs all the time, or out of the corner of your eye you'd see it go across the dining room. But you could really tell when it went up the stairs into the kids' room. And then we had a piano there that my wife just reminded me that it used to play when nobody was around it. And it wasn't a player piano.
So it wasn't a player piano.
Oh, no.
Just a regular piano.
Yeah, it would like play. The kids said they heard it all the time, but what children are.
Yeah.
But we've heard it before.
Would you hear a song? Or would you just hear a note?
It's it's like one of those Sweet Baby Jane type of licks, like Betty Davis and what was the other one? Whatever happened to Sweet Baby James? Sweet Baby Jane.
Yeah.
Just spooky 1930s, 40s type of creepy time of music. And the faucet turned on and off. Not just on, I remember they turn off too.
Wow. So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that is creepy.
Okay, we got to back up here, Bob. You said you saw mist or like fog going up your stairs?
Yeah, never down, always up. Now that I think of it.
So what?
Well, it was a friendly ghost. That's how we explained it to each other to where we could live with it. We definitely, it's our first house we ever bought. We weren't about to walk out of it. And nobody else it scared us a little bit, but, I remember, we probably even talked to it once in a while. But I was smoking a lot of weed back then, too.
Okay, the truth comes out.
I don't do that anymore. That's the God's truth.
But people always think that you can't see ghosts when you're drunk or high.
Good enough. I
don't think it matters. It's just like the Sasquatch thing. People, as soon as people say something about it, the naysayers will say, "How much wacky tobacco were you smoking?" Or did you eat the bad mushrooms?
I only saw the ghost and I was high. That's what I get.
Just always high.
How long did you live in that house, Bob?
I'd say about 8 years.
So was this ghost pretty consistent?
Yeah.
Throughout the 8 years?
Yeah, it wasn't there in the beginning though, I don't think. I just didn't notice it probably.
Mm.
But
any cold spots?
Pretty, we've heard neighbors talk, Actually, the lady next to us, Mrs. Borko, she was native. She had all sorts of pretty cool stories, about paranormal stuff and, her husband, talking to her husband still. I mean, she was a lonely old lady. Her husband died, but.
Yeah.
If I saw mist going up my stairs, that would be a for sale sign.
Yeah, well, we were really poor, man, and that's the truth.
That's
a week.
Bob, there would still be a for sale sign.
Yeah, that's often the thing, though, is you talk to people. I know because I do a lot of paranormal investigations and private homes and stuff like that. You talk to them, and always people say the first thing is, "Why don't you just move?" Well, a lot of them aren't in the position to. They've sunk everything they got into the home that they bought, and here they are. They got a haunted house.
Well, if you're ever in Western New York, you might want to check this one out.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I'd be willing.
And, it's a small city. Everybody talks to each other.
Sure.
It would be easy enough for you or me to go down the street and knock on the door and say, "Hey, I used to live in this house. You mind if we snoop around the yard a little bit?"
Yeah. That's an interesting story, and that's an interesting phenomena that you and your wife were experiencing. Did it quit at any point, or was it keeping going up until? So it was going on up until you left. I mean, it was still going on.
Yeah, it wasn't every day. Just every once in a while. I think it was mostly the winter time too.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I think about it.
Huh. Well, the winter time.
Bob, you're such a humble guy. You really are. You're very humble. For as many things as you've done, have you realized that this is not nerve-wracking? That you could come back again and you wouldn't have to get a knot in your stomach?
It was bad. Yeah. This was a lot of fun. It gave me a lot more to think about writing in my
good.
notes.
The one thing that's going to happen, Bob, is we're going to get done here in a few minutes, and you're going to go, "Dang it, I should have told them that one story. I should have told them that story."
Yeah.
That's going to be your regrets. But we're going to get you back on.
Right? Exactly, we are.
And how can people get a hold of you, Bob?
Well, my website's just starting to be built again. I had a beauty one for like 20 years. My guy that helped me with designing used to pay for it. Even Don Keller, great artist, man. He laid out all my stuff. I just took care of it. You know, he got a deal for having two or something, but no, hon, sorry. Right now, I don't know what you're going to see if you go to Robert Mussell. Mussell, so Mussell at smugmug.com.
Okay.
I don't know what's
But
going to...
they can get a hold of
cool.
Facebook.
Yeah.
Oh, Facebook for sure, yeah. Bob Mussell.
Yeah.
Just Bob Mussell.
Well, rock and roll photographer, paranormal believer, and Bigfoot aficionado. Bob Mussell, everybody. Check him out. Connect with him on Facebook. If you have a podcast, would like to have him on, he's an easy man to get a hold of. And he's got some very interesting stories.
And he promises not to get nervous anymore.
He does. He gave a solemn swear that he will not get nervous anymore. Bob, thank you so much for coming on the show. And we really do want to have you back on. This has been one of the best hour and a halves I've spent in a long time. It has been a great time talking with you. And take care of, and everyone out there, take care of each other, love each other. This is Doug Hychek and myself, Joel Sturgis. We're signing off. Till next time.
This Labor Day, HomeDepot.com is your one-stop shop for all things decor, with up to 30% off furniture, mattresses, home decor, and kitchenware. Online, it's a Labor Day savings event. Out there, it's a whole new way to enjoy your space. Whether it's finishing touches or a total transformation, find everything you need to make your home feel more like home at HomeDepot.com/decor. Free delivery on select items $45 or more, U.S. only, valid through September 15th, 2021.